Huples Cat. I'm actually north of the videos that I did on the Tim Jones trail and the other one, and this is one of the other kilometre markers on this trail. This one celebrates fish. We can learn from fish. Apparently on land we really probably need to, but when we just flock blindly like birds or fish sometimes do, it's probably not ever a good idea. As you can see today, it's a Tuesday. Very few people on this very popular trail in the heart of downtown Newmarket. So one of the things that's going on right now is a massive increase in hunger, both for adults and for children.
The images across the country tonight of American families in need. Estimates show more than 50 million Americans could go hungry this year. Thousands of families spending hours on food lines today, many losing their jobs in the struggling economy. Their stimulus benefits set to expire within weeks.
We appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Tonight, a record number of families looking for help this Thanksgiving to avoid going hungry. In Atlanta, many waiting for hours, even on Thanksgiving. Normally, these people would be lined up at the buffet line, but this year, due to COVID-19, they're lining up in cars, dozens of them waiting to get a bag of food ahead of the holidays.
Clear the way.
At this nonprofit, Hosea Helps, the need skyrocketing 300% amid the crippling pandemic. Dominic Minifield telling us this is his first time in line.
It's been very hard. It's been for me and my family. It's been tough.
From coast to coast, lines like these stretch as the need continues to grow. In Houston, the Super Feast event serving some 20,000 families.
I have nothing at home. Seriously, nothing.
So this is a huge help today.
It sure is.
Feeding America projecting more than 50 million people will face food insecurity this year. 15 million more than last year. Several food banks tell us donations are down this year. With so many unemployed, people have less to give. This as hundreds of thousands apply for unemployment. And with Congress home for the holiday this week, CARES Act benefits are set to run out at the end of the year.
Child poverty, child hunger has always been with us, much to our shame, in large amounts, especially in indigenous areas and black areas and vulnerable areas for a long time. And it's getting much, much worse. And it's spreading to the affluent areas.
Long before the pandemic, childhood hunger in America was a real, if overlooked, problem in our country. As cases rise now and millions remain out of work, that problem's only gotten worse. Food banks across the country are being inundated with long lines of people needing food, Americans, as so many families struggle to get by. At the same time, Congress has made zero progress on another relief package.
This is no ordinary walk to school, because you won't see Shauna Gray's 3 children, or how she usually gets them dressed, packs their backpacks, and packs their lunch. Because in this pandemic, there is no school, and there is no lunch, unless she makes this walk. A 90-minute journey one way.
For my children, it's all worth it, and I wouldn't change a thing.
For free lunch, which means dinner too.
You are a blessing to me and to my family.
It's a time Shauna never imagined would get this bad.
Sometimes embarrassing, but it's what you have to go through.
Is there a night that you and your husband go without food just to make sure the kids have food?
Most of the time. We will make sure that they have had their portion and maybe another portion before we would eat. And me and Dad have kind of gotten to the point of now that we only eat maybe once a day. All right, y'all. Let's set ourselves down.
Meet the Gray family. 3 kids with special needs. Dad, a dishwasher, and Shauna, a server.
So just to get a little bit of food is a hard deal nowadays.
Both of them lost their jobs when restaurants were forced to close. The Capital Area Food Bank has gone from serving 30 million meals to 50 million.
So you've purchased 5 to 7 times more food in this time.
That's right. Every day, lines around the corner at every local food bank in the nation's capital.
In Jesus' name, amen.
Rain or shine.
I'm a single parent. Just trying to provide for my family right now. I'm not working.
The number of hungry Americans tripling in just 1 year.
We served 5,000 families last Thursday at our pre-Thanksgiving distribution, and more than 50% of recipients were children and senior citizens.
So Ohio just set another record for new COVID-19 cases, adding nearly 12,000 in just the last day. What's the view on the ground there in Cleveland? When you look at the last few years, are you seeing a difference now in need?
Oh my God, absolutely. The need has skyrocketed since this pandemic hit. We have served 100,000 more people this year than we did last year in the same time period. More than 40,000 families are new, having turned to us for the first time, never before needing help from anyone in the emergency food network. And we're even getting new families who are coming to us today. You know, this pandemic started in March, and certainly we saw the need grow then, but there are families who had saved their money. They had a 3-month emergency fund or a 6-month emergency fund. But, you know, we're in November and those dollars have run out. And so we are still seeing new families in line. We also, though, are getting calls from people who used to be donors, who are calling to say, I'm so sorry that I can't contribute, but I'm finding myself in need of food, and what do I do?
But what does it mean? Well, what it means is that children who experience a significant degree of childhood hunger, like I did, generally speaking, won't end up like me. Generally speaking, they will end up sicker, not as bright, and in worse jobs than children who've had no thing different other than regular 3 meals a day without worry. So that's the reason childhood hunger is a particularly dangerous thing. It's storing up a lot of teen and young adult violence in the community in the years to come. It's kind of getting a bit windy. I hope you can hear this. It's beautiful. Canada on a snowy day. But the wind's getting up, unfortunately. So as promised in the divorce video, she sits down at a solid chess table, and this is it. There's actually 2 of them in the park. And I have attempted to remove the snow, as you can see. But what we have now, we have a ground layer of ice over the snow. It's very, very slippy. So this is going to be an interesting commute for me and Kitty to work tonight. This is the bridge coming up that she walks across, and there's the sign, as you can see. Some people obey the signs, some people don't. So in no particular order, the other things that have changed is consumerism. People have switched to mostly online shopping where they can, and that's causing a huge stress on cardboard supplies, and it's causing a huge stress on packaging. Everything is becoming, frankly, more difficult to use and believe that this is never-ending growth. Never-ending growth always was a fallacy. Never-ending growth is not going to happen. We all knew that. But I think it's becoming dawning on people that that's going to be the reality. People need to alter their ways of being, get rid of debt, treat children as children, and teach them to respect nature and to be as self-sufficient and less destructive as they possibly can. And that won't save the planet, but what it will do is maybe save your family. As of right now, these ducks are cold. They get fed a lot, despite the signs not to. I'm going to leave so they don't waste their efforts trying to get to me. So there's a lot of people abroad right now. Families have become transnational. For the upper echelon, for the rich, for the educated, for the intelligent, and even for the poor in certain parts of the world. Working and living in a foreign country from your family is common.
It's hard to tell loved ones, I won't be home for Christmas, but millions of Canadians are not making travel plans for the holidays. As tired as we are of being told to find new ways to celebrate, this is going to be a quarantine kind of Christmas. If you can gather at all, it will be in small groups. And for Canadians living overseas, it's just not worth the trip or the risk.
The one Christmas wish for many Canadians who live in Britain is simply to get back home.
I've been in tears several times over the past month or two about not being able to go. My parents are really upset. My whole family is. And we've been trying to figure out ways to make this work. And it's not possible. And we understand it, and we understand why.
This will be Megan Laren's first Christmas away from her family in Kitchener. She doesn't want to put her parents at risk, and she can't work remotely, so quarantining twice makes travelling impossible.
Christmas is a big deal for us. and to not be able to be there, it's really, I think it's especially hitting my mom quite hard, my mom and my dad.
Edwina Lowe, however, is flying from London to Vancouver on December 5th to begin 2 weeks of isolation.
As my birthday present, my mom's booked me a hotel to quarantine in. My aunt had cancer a couple years ago, so obviously I knew that I couldn't quarantine with them.
Lowe has been saving up all of her holidays this year for the holidays.
Well, I'm gonna cry. Well, my mom is like my hero. She's a single mom. She raised me and my brother on our own.
During the pandemic, Dave Matthews has been organising Zoom meetups for Canadians in London.
Some people are there every week, right? And people need to talk. And I believe it's very important. You know, a lot of people, especially during this time, they miss their family, they miss their friends, they miss going out, they miss meeting people. And, you know, mental health is a big issue during this pandemic. You know, some people underestimate it.
So what do you do at Christmas? Well, you come home, you risk infecting them, you stay there, you risk losing family bonds. It's going to be an interesting time. That's about all from me. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give me a subscription or a thumbs up or both. If you didn't, then don't bother. If you want to send me your firstborn, don't bother. Children are kind of not vegan. Anyway, hope you enjoyed seeing a snowy day in Newmarket. What other issues do you think we've got coming because of COVID, directly because of COVID or indirectly, that people aren't really thinking about? Obviously infrastructure, the money for that, the money for everything is going to dry up for a year or two. But Home Depot guy reckons by April of 2021 to April of 2022, things will be completely and absolutely back to normal, and that the big boxes and small stores will be back to where they should be. Easy to look at the world when you're a winner and say the world's fair and balanced. When a large number of people look at the world and say the world is evil and rigged, then my friends, you might see major social disruption, which I'm not expecting to see from COVID-19. The economic depression that's coming in 2021, 2022, going to be an interesting time for all of us in whatever country we're at. Don't buy into the false hopes of the corporate elite. Don't delude yourself that this is just fine. Don't delude yourself there's nothing you can do. Strengthen your resilience. However that resilience is strengthened, whatever it means to you, do it now, do it every day. Do it until this emergency, this SHTF called COVID-19 pandemic is over. Toodles. I have to go and shovel the driveway. This is a Hungry Kitten production 2020.